watching the SA Sports Show. Hey, you know, Baz, at some stage in your career, and it normally happens around the 15, 16-year-old mark, that you jump out of 3 or 4 multiple sports and pick the one that you want to pursue.
Yeah, you always do.
Our next guest jumped at 28.
Wow.
So, heptathlete, really good at athletics, jumped into cycling, but thought,
jump.
So I would have said at 28, you haven't made the jump, you're a little bit slow.
Yeah.
But she's actually smart. She qualified physio, so we can't nail her on that one anyway. Our guest, Brianna Hargrave, joins us. Bri, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
The late jump at 28 from athletics to cycling, what made you made the jump?
Yeah, I think I just always had a dream of like representing my country, and I hadn't really done that in athletics. And I got a random email one day which just said, "Are you a fast, fearless, furious female?" And I thought, yeah, that's me. And it just was advertising for some testing through the AIS for track cycling. And I just thought, you know what, I just have to give this a crack. It could be, you know, what I'm good at. And I went to the testing and they took 10 girls from that. I'm the last one standing, I think. So, yeah, it ended up being a good decision in the end.
Yeah, well, it looks like a couple of bronze medals, Com Games. It's worked out okay. And now you've decided you've had a go at tandem, you've had a go at other events, and you've decided to go for the sprint.
That's right. Yeah, I initially started as a sprinter and then ended up on the road. But, yeah, a couple of years ago went back to the sprint and just started going really well. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket. And, yeah, it's been a great couple of years, actually. Yeah.
The COVID issue has really helped you, hasn't it? This is an amazing, this is a good story because you know, if anything good can come of COVID, this certainly has, because it gave you the opportunity, didn't it, with the lockdown to improve your fitness, improve everything, really.
Yeah, I think I was one of the lucky ones. Like, it did mean a little bit less work, but for me that meant more time to train. And yeah, I got set up with a room at home which had like a couple of trainers and the Zwift app, and I just got really into training. I had some weights from the gym, and yeah, I ended up coming out probably the fittest I've ever been after the first sort of incidents of COVID in Adelaide. So, yeah.
Don't have to leave home.
No.
That's the best part, really.
But, yeah, we're also lucky here, you know, that we didn't have to get locked down for too long.
Can you just explain that? Because I find this fascinating. I think this is one thing that's come out of COVID that was just amazing, really, that's going to be around now for...
Have you been using it?
I've got it set up. I haven't used it yet.
Haven't used it yet.
No, not quite. Because I did a jump when I was at 30. I did a jump from cricket to chess. That was my
the Zwift app. Sorry for interrupting, mate.
But just explain that app, because I find it fascinating.
It's actually amazing. So you get set up with a trainer that measures your power, and you insert your weight, and so everything is done by power to weight. And basically anyone around the world can be on a trainer linked up to this app, and you're racing. There's group rides, there's races, there's training, and yeah, you just look up the schedule and you can jump on the trainer and be in an international race. It's amazing. So I actually did some international racing on Zwift during COVID. The only problem was that some of the races were at 3 a.m. because they were on a different time zone. But yeah, it's fantastic, and it's helped a lot of the local cyclists in Adelaide to just step up a level.
And it would actually let you know exactly where you stand as well with other cyclists doing a similar thing.
Yeah, I mean, power to weight, it's mainly power to weight. So the only thing it does take out a little bit is the skills that are involved, obviously, with like crit racing and that sort of thing. So if you're not such a skillful person, you might go a bit better on Zwift. But yeah, it's definitely, there's a few people that have gone pro from training on Zwift, and it's a fantastic way of training.
So you touched on it then, to go from Zwift then to the track, how different suddenly when it's real as opposed to image? Yeah,
I mean, you got to get in touch with your skills again, particularly on the track. Like, you got to, you know, get used to being up high on the velodrome, and also being boxed in by people, because obviously on Zwift there's no one else there. But I think because I started on the track with my cycling, that's something that was a bit more natural, so it didn't take too long to get back to that.
I just finished reading a book about, you know, when you're cycling, you said before you're third in the line, you know how they rise up on the track and then they've got to come down, but they've got to get within the smallest fraction, don't you?
Yeah, the team pursuit you're talking about,
It is, I always, and I've only been on the track a couple of times, I find it scary when I get up there to go, to even come down, I've got as long as I like. How much training goes into that? Just that, because it's such a pivotal part of the race.
So yeah, I was doing team pursuits before I went back to sprint, and I would say it took me a good sort of 6 months to a year to really get that changeover nice and smooth. And the girls that do it will be practicing 3-4 times a week, constantly doing the same moves, going up and swinging back down. And that's why it's super important if you're in any sort of team event, particularly team pursuit, that you're training together regularly.
And the consequences are not good if you miss, are they?
No,
they're not good. It's an instant reward, isn't it? Instant punishment.
They don't look good.
Why back to the sprint? What made you go back to the sprint from team?
Actually, I got asked to go and fill in. They had a state champs out there, and I think they were lower numbers. And I hadn't done sprint for a while because I was just focusing on the road, and I just got asked to fill up the numbers, and I just had a really good flying 200. I did a massive PB, and I thought, gee, like I think I did 11.1 at the time, and that wasn't too bad. And I sort of thought, I think I need to just throw everything into this. I knew Com Games was coming up, and the team sprint was going to 3 people for the women. So in the past, it's been 2, and so I was just like, I'm just going to throw everything in it. And then I ended up getting my time down to a 10.7,
wow.
Not too long after that, and. Yeah, then the doors opened up for me.
Yeah.
So it's been really good.
Well, you run a business. You're a physio.
Yeah.
You could not do what you do right now without support from that business and probably from outside as well. I see you're wearing a Anytime Fitness.
Yep. So I've got a couple of great sponsors: Anytime Fitness, Unley, Australian Muscle, and GKA Sports Store. Also Via 13, I've got quite a few that give me some products, and I definitely wouldn't be here without them. But yeah, also my family, mum, dad, husband, they look after me a fair bit. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
That's an interesting one. What did hubby say about, 28, right, I think I'll go for a ride on a bike. I've had enough of this stuff. I'm going to go.
It's pretty funny, actually. I didn't tell him for a while. I took my husband along to the my dad along to the information session instead. And it took me a while to build up the confidence to say to Chris, I think I'm going to try cycling. But yeah, he's been super supportive along the way, and I think he's enjoying, he has done a bit of travelling, he surfs a bit, so he's come to Mexico and a few other cool places to watch me race.
Yeah. No, he's adjusted well there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Hey, just quickly before we let you go, the international travel is a big part of cycling. How do you find fitting that around with your business?
Yeah, it's always a challenge. I'm lucky I've got a couple of people that come and help me at work when I go away. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and something that I'm sort of hoping that will get a bit easier as maybe if I can qualify for Com Games and further on.
Good luck, Bree.
Hey, Bree, we really appreciate you trying to squeeze us into your hectic schedule, and hopefully we can get you in and find out about your Com Games and everything else leading up to that. Our special guest, Brianna Hargrave.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Stay with us. Still plenty to come.